What's up, guys? This is Ray, and today we'll be talking about the 2019 American movie Pokemon Detective Pikachu, directed by Rob Letterman, who directed, a few good entertaining kids films in the past, Goosebumps, A Shark's Tale. And in this movie, he brings to us Justice Smith and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds voices the titular Detective Pikachu. And this movie is a live-action adaptation of a spin-off of the ever-so-popular Pokemon game series. I haven't actually played the Detective Pikachu game. However, I am a hardcore fan of the mainline series of Pokemon games. I've been playing every single mainline Pokemon game pretty much since its conception. I think the very first Pokemon game I completed was back in Pearl Diamond, but I've been pretty much a fan ever since Pokemon was conceived. And this movie, I checked it out in the theaters and decided to review it. And if you guys ask me why review an American movie, it's because, well, this is an adaptation of a Japanese work. It has a few Japanese actors featured, like Watanabe Ken and even Takeichi Ryoma. Takeichi Ryoma, he made a small cameo as a Pokemon trainer in this movie, but actually in the Japanese dub, he provided the voice of Tim, who was played by Justice Smith. And for those of you guys who are wondering, in the dub, Pikachu is actually voiced by Nishijima Hidetoshi, so we get more of an older Osan kind of vibe for Pikachu, similar to as how the original game kind of worked out. To be honest, when they first announced Detective Pikachu, I was pretty amped about it, and I kind of wanted Danny DeVito to be that English voice because if you ever heard the voice in the game, it sounds like it would be perfect for Danny DeVito. But I was still fine when they announced Ryan Reynolds. I'm a Ryan Reynolds fan. Here I am with my Deadpool shirt. So either way, I knew it was going to be entertaining. So the story of Detective Pikachu, it's about this young lad named Tim who discovers that his dad has went missing. So he goes into Rhyme City to try to piece together what had happened to his dad. And his dad's old apartment, he finds Pikachu. Pikachu was his dad's Pokemon partner. And so, but the thing is, this Pikachu is kind of different in that Tim can actually understand this Pikachu's words. And at first, Tim is, he doesn't want anything to do with the Pikachu. He gave up on being a Pokemon trainer years ago, so he really doesn't want anything to do with any Pokemon. So at first, the relationship is pretty rocky, but they agreed to work together to try to piece together what happened to Tim's dad, Harry. Along the way, they partner up with Lucy, this reporter who works for a blog, and her partner, Psyduck. And also, as many of you might have guessed from watching the trailers, they also encounter Mewtwo. And I think that's all I'm going to say in regards to the story, just to avoid potential spoilers. But, going to the positives, I absolutely love the world that this movie is set in. This takes place in Rhyme City. And, it's like one of those big city type of areas you would find in a mainline Pokemon game. And one of the things they kind of one of the rules they established with Rhyme City is that there aren't any captured Pokemon here. Everyone kind of lives alongside Pokemon, that being different from areas outside the city where you can catch Pokemon and train them up in the battle. There is no actual Pokemon battling allowed in Rhyme City, so that's why you see Pokemon freely roaming the streets alongside their human partners. And just when you see everything walking around, it's amazing. You remember watching Roger Rabbit back in the day? This movie reminds me a lot about Roger Rabbit, for more than just having, with Roger Rabbit, you have all the animated characters walking around. Here you have all the Pokemon roaming around. But this movie has many parallels with Roger Rabbit than just that. But it has the same sense of awe where in every frame, there's always Pokemon in the background, and the CG that's used to animate these Pokemon is beautiful. Of course, it's not realistic at all. It's not meant to be. After all, Pokemon aren't meant to be realistic in the first place, but I think the way the CG brought these Pokemon to life, and not only captured the essence of what made the original Pokemon designs memorable, but also to the point where, it's believable to a point that, these could exist in the real world. And going back to my comparison of this movie with Roger Rabbit, this movie also makes for a really good noir flick, a really good noir detective flick with its use of visuals and even the music. It gets to a point, when Tim goes into Rhyme City, it's all nice and bright. It's like you're walking into a big city in a Pokemon game, and once it turns into night, the mood switch actually works quite well. The music slows down a little bit. You get some kind of some down tempo, kind of emotional sounding music going on, and the bright neon lights start to shine throughout the city. And there's a lot of signage, a lot of color, a lot of vibrant color throughout this night cityscape, and that's something that really set the mood and really made it befitting of a detective story. With that being in mind, this movie also reminds me of Blade Runner in a way, in the way the world was set up, but at the same time, I think it keeps more elements of Roger Rabbit. And I also dug the humor. You have Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu. There are a lot of one-liners which will get both adults and kids just laughing, but they're a select few of one-liners where, well, they'll have the adults just saying, wait, did he just say that? Did he just say he wouldn't want to see this dude's internet history? Or did he just make a cocaine reference? Stuff like that. They're quick, and if it's one of those if you blink and miss it kind of moments, but then if you catch it, I think it just, goes to show that this movie provides entertainment for all ages. But what makes this movie work for me, of course, you have the Pokemon, you have the excellent visuals, but you also have the emotional heart of the story, the connection between Pikachu and Tim. I think the way they worked out, they started off, as folks who don't want anything to do with each other, and they eventually grow, and you actually see a really nice progression when it comes to their character development and their relationship with each other, and the chemistry, the way they bounce back and forth. It made for a great duo in this kind of setting, similar to Bob Hoskins and Roger Rabbit back then. I keep making references to Roger Rabbit because this movie reminded me a lot of what I enjoyed about Roger Rabbit back in the day. And to top off the rest, I absolutely enjoy the battle sequences here. They had a lot of entertainment value, and especially the final confrontation. It was all hype. I was really excited from beginning to end, fully satisfied the way everything was portrayed here. And it had very self-aware meta humor that I think fans of the game series would enjoy. Just like, when Tim and Pikachu would discuss what's Pikachu's most effective moves and just how to tackle different Pokemon, even commentary on how Pokemon evolve. It was all self-aware meta humor, and I absolutely loved it. As far as the negatives are concerned, not too many, because I have to keep in mind that this is a Pokemon story, therefore it's meant to be a movie that's aimed towards kids. But if I were to nitpick, I would say the motivations of the main villain were pretty cliched. You can kind of see how the story is going to turn out from a mile away, and even twists and turns along the way. It's really easy to predict, but it's fine. It's a kid's story through and through. And also, this is a really nitpick, just as a fan of the game. There's a scene where Psyduck uses a psychic attack against a Greninja. I mean, this is just really me with the nerd glasses on, but if you ever watched the anime back in the day and you see the episode where Pikachu thunder shocks an Onix, it shouldn't have worked according to the game's mechanics. This Psyduck shouldn't have been able to attack Greninja with his psychic attack. In the same kind of nerdy kind of thinking. At least I think it was a psychic attack. If it was a psychic attack, it shouldn't have worked against a Greninja because psychic doesn't work against dark, but I digress. So overall, what do I have to say about Detective Pikachu? I absolutely loved it from beginning to end. Ryan Reynolds, Justice Smith, like the two bouncing back and forth was absolutely entertaining. Ryan Reynolds has all the quick one-liners to make you just laugh and just and smile. And just, if you're a Ryan Reynolds fan, it has enough of his style of humor in this movie. And there are plenty of references and Easter eggs to Pokemon like throughout the entire movie that makes it worthy to be called a live action adaptation. And funny enough, I think this movie actually takes place in the actual world of Pokemon. They reference all the different regions of that were ever featured in Pokemon, like Sinnoh and even Kanto. So this movie it takes place in an area that's in the same general world where all the other Pokemon games are located. I think that's pretty neat, and I think there was a great balance with this kind of childlike wonder, like if you were actually in the Pokemon world, with this kind of grounded realism, like in the sense that if we were actually in a Pokemon world, how would we react? How would we talk to these Pokemon? It actually gave the movie a higher entertainment value, in my opinion. Would I recommend this movie to watch? I'd say hell yeah, especially if you're a fan of the Pokemon games, if you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds, if you're a fan of Roger Rabbit and old school noir detective flicks. This movie packs a lot of it and balances everything just fine, in my opinion. There's a lot of emotional heart as what you can expect in a Pokemon movie. If you ever seen any Pokemon animated movie, there's always moments that are meant to hit you in the gut and make you cry. This movie has that too, and it has all the essence that you can expect in a Pokemon, in a title, in a work that has Pokemon in the title. And needless to say, I think this is absolutely the best live action adaptation of a video game property. I would say, up until Pokemon Detective Pikachu, for me, the best video game adaptation or adaptation of a video game was probably the Ace Attorney movie back in the day. You know, there are a few that I actually had fun with. Like, I actually enjoyed the Rampage adaptation. You know, I enjoyed the Resident Evil movies for what they're worth. But as far as something that kept the heart and and gave justice to the original work, Detective Pikachu definitely was it. But yes, those are my thoughts on Pokemon Detective Pikachu. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please remember, you can always support via Patreon from as little as $1. And that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hope to catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.